Look at some of them.
As we head into September, there are some fantastic galaxies on view, and we have the virtue of having one of the brightest in the entire night sky, M31, the Andromeda Galaxy, a beautiful spiral galaxy in the constellation of Andromeda. Now we can find M31 quite easily. We can use an old friend, which is the Great Square of Pegasus. At this time of year, the Great Square of Pegasus is rising in the hours before midnight in the east, so it's fairly easy to find. If we can locate the Great Square, locate the two stars at the top of the square and extend them to the left by about the same distance as the square side. Go up slightly from that point and you'll come to another star which is about the same brightness as the stars in the Great Square. And this is Beta Andromedae, and it's a key star for finding the galaxies which I shall be talking about in a moment. Now, if you turn 90 degrees going up from Beta Andromedae, you'll come to a fainter star, which is known as Mu Andromedae. Keep going up again and you'll come to another star, which is even fainter still, which is Nu Andromedae. And if you can find Nu Andromedae, the galaxy M31 is just above that. To the naked eye in dark skies, it looks very obvious. It's an elongated smudge of light. In fact, it's a bit of a tease, but I'll come back to why that's the case in just a moment. If you've got a pair of binoculars or a telescope using a low power, if you look at M31, you actually get 3 galaxies for the price of 1, because very close to the core of M31, there are 2 elliptical galaxies, which are actually satellites of M31 itself. They're actually in orbit around the core of M31. Now, these 2 elliptical galaxies actually look slightly different to one another. If you can locate the one which is due south, it's about 1/3 of a degree due south of the centre of M31, that's known as M32. It's quite bright, and if you look at it with a telescope, you start increasing the power, you'll see that it looks just like a ball of stars. It looks like a fuzzy star, actually. The other one is NGC 205, and to find NGC 205, you have to go from M32 through the centre of the core and up and slightly to the right. A little bit further out this time, about 1/2 degree, again an elliptical galaxy, but this time it's actually slightly elongated. But M31 is a spiral galaxy. If you look at it with a pair of binoculars or a telescope using a low power, what you're most likely to see is just a larger version of what you can see with a naked eye. And there's a good reason for this, because the fuzzy patch you see with the naked eye is actually just the core of M31. The spiral arms are there, they extend out much further, but you can't actually see them, they're too dim. And there's another problem with M31 in that it's actually tilted over to us by quite a large angle, about 77 degrees, and that means we see it quite obliquely on. So even if we could see the spiral arms, it would be difficult to see much structure. To see a spiral galaxy in its full glory, we need to find one which is more or less face on to us. And fortunately, there is one very close by. In fact, if we go back to M31, join a line from M31 to Beta Andromedae, this is the star we found earlier, and then extend it for the same distance again, going downwards this time. The end point of that line marks the position of another famous spiral galaxy, M33, in the constellation of Triangulum, the Triangle. In fact, it's known as the Triangulum Galaxy. Now, this is a wonderful object, but if you look at it with a telescope, using a reasonable magnification, you probably won't see anything at all. It's large and it has a low surface brightness. What happens is you're looking right through the galaxy. What you need to do to see it is to use a low power, and that's a pair of binoculars is ideal, or a low power eyepiece. If you do this, you'll be able to see that it has an elongated, smudgy appearance, but if you keep staring at it, you may be able to see the structure start to form in those spiral arms. You may be able to pick it out. It looks like some sort of fantastic celestial Catherine wheel, if you like. Now, M33, M31 and its 2 companion elliptical galaxies are going to be up for several months yet. So if you have a telescope, a pair of binoculars, or even just your eyes, Go outside and look at these fantastic objects. They're just wonderful.